Scottish Rite activities began in the city of McAlester in 1901, which was before statehood, and the area was called Indian Territory. In 1904, the first building was completed. It was a one-story frame structure with a basement. Recognizing that the building was too small to accommodate future classes, plans began to erect a larger building 1 block north of the original temple. We are now at the east entrance, which fronts on 2nd Street and normally considered the main entrance to the building. As we enter the portico, on your right is a sculpture which has the inscription, "Darkness was on the face of the deep." And on your left is another sculpture with the inscription, "Let there be light." As the huge double metal doors open to us, we hope to not only explore the building, but also hope that we can bring to your attention some of the basic principles of Masonry. This is a lobby view of the registration area where members and candidates check in during our biannual reunions. As we turn around, we have a view of the center section of the spacious lobby. You can see the 10 huge ornate columns which support the 20-foot ceiling. It is used as a general meeting place and has furniture arranged in conversational settings. As our view changes from the center to the right side of the lobby, you will note a display case showing Masonic aprons from the 1700s and 1800s. Above the case is a large plaque listing the members of the $1,000 Club who have given to the Charitable and Educational Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of the Masonic fraternity. Then turn to your left. There is another display case. Above this case is another large plaque exhibiting the names of the perpetual endowed members. Now we'll proceed. On our right is the north stairway, and on our left is the south stairway. Walking up either stairway, a person would encounter large portraits of Masonic leaders of the past. Also on the landing of the south stairway is our large grandfather clock, which was donated by the class of 1907 and has been operational all through the years. As we leave the west end of the lobby, we enter into the entranceway to the Elmer Hale Dining Hall. The hall will seat 500 people. Meals are served during reunions, and many banquets are held in this room during the year. From the dining hall, you can enter the men's lounge. This is a favorite hangout for our members when they are between degrees or meetings. The men's lounge is equipped with a large television and tables for cards and dominoes. Probably the favorite activity here is just visiting with other members you haven't seen since the last reunion. On one of the walls of the dining hall is an exact replica of the United States Constitution and bylaws. We're proud that many of the men who signed the Constitution were Masons. As we exit the Elmer Hale Dining Hall, on our right is the doorway that enters into the private apartment which is used during reunions by the Sovereign Grand Inspector General. As we turn around, you can see the Rose Croix Chapel. On the altar are the Bibles and holy manuscripts of the world's great monotheistic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. The chapel is not part of our degree work and is only used for meditation and spiritual contemplation. Across the hallway from the chapel is the McAlester Scottish Rite Speech and Language Disorders Clinic. The two primary areas in which our charitable philanthropy has been directed are scholarships for first-year college students and this clinic. Problems in speaking, hearing, and reading affect more children than all other childhood diseases and conditions combined. The Scottish Rite has addressed this problem with speech clinics in most of the temples and centers nationwide. This clinic services are performed at no charge. The McAlester Scottish Rite members are very proud of this service, which has proven very effective through the years. As we leave the clinic and turn to our left is the Grand West Stairway. At the top of the stairway, a few steps down the corridor, is the entrance to the Blue Lodge room. This is the home of Masonic Lodge number 96. Since this is the Blue Lodge room, it is appropriately decorated in 7 different shades of blue. Exiting the Blue Lodge room, we proceed down the corridor to the Richards room. This room is used for group meetings, seminars, and receptions. We'll now head back to the main floor and visit a couple of places that we missed on our first walkthrough. A very important room is the Sovereign Grand Inspector General's conference room. This is where the SGIG meets monthly with his advisory conference, which serves as a board of directors and handles all of the business of the McAlester Scottish Rite. An unusual feature of this room is the purple decor. Purple is the color that represents the SGIG. The next area is the office. From a long corridor, we enter into the main room where our faithful office staff is located. There are 2 other separate office rooms. One is home to the General Secretary of the McAlester Scottish Rite, who might be referred to in corporate terminology as the Chief Operating Officer. The other office is used by the SGIG when he is in the city. We have saved the best for the grand finale. The most important room in the building is the auditorium, where the Scottish Rite Masonic degrees 4 through 32 are portrayed. Entering the auditorium, we see one of the largest Masonic stages in the United States. It is 80 feet deep, 125 feet wide, and 80 feet high. Folks, 80 feet is about the height of an 8-story building. Of course, the main focus is the beautiful background scenery. The scenery is a story in itself. From the audience, the scenery drops create an illusion of reality. A wooded scene, an ancient city by the sea, a mausoleum, a cathedral. Notice the door opening. This is done with 112 drops, backdrops, and side drops. All of the drops were hand-painted more than 75 years ago. The artist was a Mason named Tom Moses. The last years of his life were spent doing mostly Masonic stages, and this was his last work, as he died shortly after completing the McAlester job. The scenery is changed by veteran stage crew members who pull on counterbalanced ropes to raise and lower the drops. All of the stage crew workers, the set changers, the sound people, the computerized control panel operators, are all men who have worked at their respective jobs for many years and take great pride in their labor. Now let's turn our attention to the auditorium. When you're seated in the auditorium, a person feels himself transported back thousands of years, before the time of Christ, to ancient Egypt, the land of pyramids and pharaohs. The magnificent columns on the side walls remind us of the admonition of Peter that we have been given the power to become. This is the entire purpose of Scottish Rite Masonry, to enable a person to become all that God would intend for them to be. We'll depart the auditorium area from the backstage. We'll pass the Actors Lounge, where actors stay until they're cued to appear on stage. Now, down a narrow stairway, we make our way to the last stop on the tour. This is the makeup and costume area where the actors are prepared to change from a person of the 21st century into a character from the Egyptian age to the Middle Ages. veteran Scottish Rite workers make up the faces and apply beards and wigs as the character part requires, and then the actor goes into the large cedar-lined room to put on his character's costume. Our walking tour of the McAlester Scottish Rite Temple is now completed. The 4,000 members of the Scottish Rite of McAlester are very proud of their special structure, and we hope that you have enjoyed this quick walk-through tour. And we hope that you have received a glimpse of Scottish Rite history, activities, and accomplishments.